In September 2020, I released 2 videos detailing every single character's worst matchup in the game. However, it is now 2023. Times have changed, people have gotten better, new freaky characters have come out, and Nintendo have patched and nerfed characters themselves. So I wanted to do an updated video on every character's worst matchup in the game. A lot of effort went into this. I have looked over and researched multiple top players' matchup charts to put this video together. This is not my opinion. A little bit of it is, but mainly this is an objective look, compiling a lot of data, and I'm here to give it to you. Now, this is a bit embarrassing after that whole spiel, because to start it off, Mario's worst matchup is still Shulk. A lot of DLC have come out that might be better at outranging this fat Italian plumber man. However, there is no character that combines that with getting out of combos as well as Shulk with his goddamn shield Monado. Shulk is also just perfect at edge guarding Mario. Shulk is the perfect Mario counter. I'm sorry, Mario. Now, Donkey Kong is a character that gets comboed pretty hard and does not deal with people spamming moves on his shield very well. And so Steve has come in and is the perfect counter to Donkey Kong. Combos out the wazoo, killing Donkey Kong, edge guarding him very, very easily. However, while creating this matchup chart, as you might imagine, Steve is a lot of characters' worst matchup. So from now on, I will say if Steve is considered a character's worst matchup or equal worst matchup. However, a lot of areas have banned Steve from their tournament, so it's pointless saying Steve is a character's worst matchup if you're watching this video to informatively counterpick everyone in your entire scene, which is disgusting, by the way. So from now on, I will say if Steve is bad, but also the other worst matchup, and for Donkey Kong, it is still Game & Watch. Now for Link, it used to be Lucina, who is a fast-paced sword character who took advantage of how slow Link is, but also contesting with his range and getting edge guards at the same time. However, now there is an even faster sword character who can overwhelm Link and edge guard and ledge trap just as well, and in fact has the ability to foresight through a projectile and just smash attack kill you for it, and that is why Pirate Mithra is now Link's worst matchup. Now for Samus and Dark Samus, this is actually a surprising one for me to research. All these other ones have made sense so far, but apparently Samus players absolutely hate Olimar. He's a cheeky little gremlin, and Pikmin apparently just block absolutely everything, including Charge Shot. Now, Yoshi in the video games is best friends with Mario, and so they share the same worst enemy as well, and that is Shulk. Shulk completely outranges Yoshi, and an interesting fact I learned is that Yoshi's double jump super armor is calculated on the knockback the character is going to receive, not the damage Yoshi is receiving, which usually it wouldn't even matter. However, with Shulk's smash art doing extreme amounts of knockback without doing like way more damage, it is absolutely perfect for breaking Yoshi's super armor earlier than any other character. Kirby absolutely hates Steve nowadays, because just imagine chubby, little stubby Kirby, little slow Kirby trying to approach Steve and all the blocks getting set up. Kirby has terrible, terrible air mobility and just can't approach this character. However, other than Steve, next up is Sonic, because Kirby also cannot approach Sonic. Now, Fox's worst matchup is Luigi. Something Fox loves to do is just juggling you up in the air over and over, racking up damage that might not be guaranteed, but usually he has a pretty good time juggling. However, Luigi, if your combo is not guaranteed, if it is not frame perfect, that down B is coming straight out and super armoring through your moves. Also, if you think about Luigi as a character, he's pretty good in most cases. However, off stage, he is terrible. He gets edge guarded very easily. Fox is one of the worst characters in the game at landing edge guards, so he can't take advantage of this. And you got to factor in that Fox is always needing to approach Luigi, and a single pivot grab could end Fox's life. Now, Pikachu is considered one of the best characters in the game, having a fantastic matchup spread. However, he cannot deal with Game & Watch. First of all, Game & Watch has the bucket, so Pikachu can't just sit there camping out this character. And when he goes to approach Game & Watch's aerials beat Pikachu's every single day of the week and lead to massive combos. You can't edge guard Game & Watch as Pikachu. Pikachu is kind of the opposite to Fox, where Pikachu loves to get kills with edge guards. That's not happening on Game & Watch. And Game & Watch is one of the few characters in the entire game that can ledge trap and edge guard Pikachu's quick attack to stage, because he just throws out a bunch of bacon and it catches Pikachu very, very easily. Now, if you're struggling with Luigi, getting annoyed at him always grabbing you, why don't you just get a massive sword that means you don't even need to get close to him? And that is exactly what Sephiroth does, and Sephiroth is also a character that's fantastic at getting edge guards on characters. There's not really much more to say about this. Now, Ness is one of my favorite characters. However, it is an absolute struggle trying to deal with Palutena. The best way I can put it is think of Ness as maybe like a small fat child, and Palutena is like LeBron James, like an NBA basketball star. The movement in comparison is just on another level, and she is just dancing all around you, taking advantage of all your weaknesses. Palutena is like a sword character with the movement of a gazelle. Pair this with the fact that she is unexpectedly amazing at edge guarding Ness with her counter and being able to two-frame his recovery guaranteed every time. It is a horrendous time trying to deal with this character. Captain Falcon is an exciting character that loves to combo, loves to land edge guards, loves to juggle characters, keeping them up in the air, and Game & Watch, you can't do any of that to him. Game & Watch is an absolute menace to deal with as Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon, in turn, is absolute combo food for Game & Watch, who just needs to chuck out one neutral air, and it leads to like 70 or 80% if it lands on Captain Falcon. And guess what? Captain Falcon is going to need to approach that neutral air if he wants to land a hit. He's got no projectiles, no way of spacing out Game & Watch. Also, if you do land an approach where Game & Watch isn't nairing but shielding instead, guess what? You're getting upbeat out of shield, hit off stage, edge guarded easily. It's a disaster. Jigglypuff actually struggles a lot with Yoshi. Jigglypuff has an incredibly tough time trying to land a kill on Yoshi with all of his super armor. And in turn, Yoshi is a character that doesn't really rely on landing edge guards to get kills, but more so just random hits in neutral, which is perfect for beating up Jigglypuff. All those random hits are now just going to kill earlier. And yeah, it's rough for Puff. Peach has an extremely difficult time with Mr. Game & Watch, and who better to explain why the matchup is bad than the best Peach player in the entire world, Mew-Ace.
I know I won, and I'm like probably the best person at this matchup like ever to ever exist as Peach, but like it's bad. It's really bad. This matchup is like, the risk reward is not fair. They just run in and mash Nair. It's safe, and it's just like, you get tapped and you take 80 and you get up it and then you get upbeat off the side, even with a good SDI, and you just get ledge trapped. Like, Peach cannot get off the ledge versus Bacon at all. He can actually go out there and edge guard you. You can't edge guard Game & Watch. She doesn't have reliable 2 frames for hitting his like biggest thing, where it's this horrible 2 frame because he goes above the ledge. So she doesn't have a reliable hitbox because she has nothing active. The thing you're supposed to do is like stuff the Nair instead of running away from it. But even that is like hard sometimes because you need fast ground speed for that, and that's aka what my character doesn't have. I don't have fast ground speed, so I'm doing it with like a disadvantageous set, and I don't even get much for dash attacking him. It's like, okay, you took a dash attack. And juggling him isn't even great. His downer beats my up air most of the time because my arm goes into it, unless you hit him like specifically from the side, but it's hard because he has so much air drift while he's down airing. So
yeah, if you hate Peach players, then pick Game & Watch. Bowser's worst matchup is Steve. However, other than that, it is Kazuya. Bowser has absolutely copped it with these new DLC characters coming out. He's just an easy character to combo. He has to approach these characters, and Kazuya is like a character that if Bowser does a silly down air or down B in neutral, which is like a pretty good mix-up they have to get down to the ground as a heavy character, Kazuya could just spot dodge that, roll out the way, and kill you for it, man. So yeah, poor Bowser. These new DLC have not given him any favors. And speaking of DLC characters ruining people's day, Ice Climbers just absolutely loses to Min Min. Min Min kind of sits back with her long noodle arms, smacks the Ice Climbers apart from each other, and gets edge guards on this character very easily without committing to anything. And Ice Climbers is a character that wants to do damage by landing a grab, getting their hands on you, landing their nasty combos, and Min Min is just saying, no, stand back. I have long arms. So yeah, it doesn't really work out for the ice climbers. Sheik's worst matchup is Steve. However, other than that, it is Pac-Man. Sheik is a character, and probably the worst character at dealing with Pac-Man's Hydra. Because if you think about it, every single hit that Sheik does like nothing. So dealing with Hydra is very annoying. Dealing with Pac-Man jumping around in the air, getting his good fruits is annoying because Sheik is a character that kind of needs her opponent to be on the ground and land a specific hit to then get her combos going, which do lead to a lot of damage. But Pac-Man is kind of avoiding all those setups while he powers up, while he gets his fruit, and in return, Pac-Man hits extremely hard, can get the bell out and starts getting kills at like 70 or 80, and oh no, Sheik stole my bell. Oh no, what's she gonna do if she hits me with it at 70? Nothing. She's weak. She's puny. She's not Bowser, just grabbing the bell, landing it, forward smashing me at 30. No, Sheik's, I don't know, forward tilt into up air is sick. For Zelda, I'm not gonna lie. There has not been a new Zelda matchup chart for the last 2 years, maybe even 3. I couldn't find it anywhere. So if someone has any information in the description, please let us know. But it seems to be Joker. Joker just has down B, so if there's the slow projectiles of Zelda coming, he just down B's it, gets us in. Now he's super powerful. Joker also has the speed and the movement to dance around Zelda's slow neutral, slow frame data. But yeah, there hasn't been a matchup chart in a while, so who knows? Maybe it's Steve. Dr. Mario's PhD has simply made him more lazy and even slower, which guess what? Is even worse for fighting Shulk than Mario. So yeah, that's Dr. Mario's worst matchup. Pichu's worst matchup used to be Snake, and don't get me wrong, that matchup's still really bad. However, it is now considered to be Samus. Pichu is a character that can't just camp their opponents like Pikachu can, because they're just going to be damaging themselves the entire time. And even though Pichu is fast, they're short and stubby, and it is a bit of a pain trying to approach these projectile characters. Pair that on with the fact that Samus's charge shot absolutely destroys Pichu at like 60-70% near the ledge because Pichu dies so early. Charge shot is an extremely scary factor, along with all the other random attacks that Samus is throwing out to defend herself. Pichu is just going to run into that and simply explode like a little piñata. Falco says hell no to fighting Mr. Game & Watch. Game & Watch is a character that's very difficult to combo. Guess who likes to combo? Falco. Yeah, guess what? It's not happening. And funnily enough, Falco's stronger, heavier lasers are actually worse for fighting Game & Watch because it makes his bucket way more powerful than, say, Fox's lasers. Game & Watch also has a jolly good time landing edge guards and early kills on Falco's recovery. Game & Watch, anywhere Falco can go, Game & Watch can go too, with his back air, with his down air, with his dash attack to catch you trying to side B to ledge. If you get knocked off stage as Falco, you might as well just fly over to the next stock because you have no hope against Mr. Game & Watch. Marth and Lucina are characters that rely on winning their neutral game over and over to get kills. But guess which character might have a better neutral than theirs? It's Sonic. Sonic is such a frustrating character to run around and try and catch with Lucina and Marth. You got no projectiles to chuck out at him, so you're chasing him all over the stage. And when you finally catch him, what do? You land like 2 hits to get like 20%. Marth and Lucina are not heavy combo characters, and they really struggle to land a lot of damage when they do finally get in on Sonic. And that is why Sonic is the worst matchup for them. Fighting Cloud as young Link sucks. Cloud's sword is just like 4 times as big as a young Link. So that's just to start things off. Now, young Link is a projectile character who likes to camp out his opponents or at least put safe pressure on. The safe pressure isn't really working because Cloud's got his up B out of shield. He's got more range than if you start getting close. So you're like, okay, it's a sword character. I'll stand back, camp him out. Guess what? He charges up limit. Now he's even more powerful. He's faster. He's stronger. He's killing you with all his super powered attacks. It's a pain in the bum. Pair that with Cloud actually being able to edgeguard Young Link, because Young Link kind of has this linear fashion where he has to get close to the stage. So Cloud just chucks out his big sword. Young Link's little dumb head runs straight into it. And Young Link usually gets his kills by doing like kill setups on stage. Doesn't go out deep for an edge guard a lot of the time. And that is what you would want to do against Cloud. So yeah, this matchup is a pain for Young Link. Ganondorf is another heavy that's worst matchup is Steve. Steve is just out here just murdering all the heavies. However, other than that, it is Min Min. And I think you just need to watch this matchup or think about it for about 5 seconds to understand why it's so bad for a slow, heavy character with no fast out of shield options and an extremely exploitable recovery to go up against Min Min. Like, that is a disaster. Mewtwo is another character with a surprising worst matchup. Similar, in my opinion, to Samus randomly losing to Olimar, Mewtwo absolutely hates Bayonetta. Bayonetta has a very easy time landing her kill confirms on Mewtwo. He's a big, floaty, light character, and Bayo is a character that's good at combos, but not fantastic due to all the nerfs. But guess what? On Mewtwo, they are fantastic. Mewtwo's so easy to combo, and he's light, gets early kills on him. Plus, Bayonetta is a character that can pressure Mewtwo charging up his neutral B and his projectile with bullets that can't actually be reflected back at her by Mewtwo because of the weird way the bullets are angled and how they work. So yeah, she can put the pressure on from a distance and up close, and Mewtwo absolutely hates it. Oh, and also Bayonetta is a character that's surprisingly extremely good at catching characters' teleports because of her multiple hitboxes that come out with her special moves. She can kind of like do an up B at the ledge as the other character teleports, and it catches them every time, especially if they're as big as Mewtwo. Roy players hate Pikachu players. Roy has a very tough time getting his sword to land on this little rat of a character. Pikachu just kind of flies around the stage, camping Roy out, and Roy has to approach. And then when Pikachu does do the mix-up of like, whoa, I'm going to back it now, I'm going to approach, I'm going to look for my combo, it's so easy to combo Roy. If you play a character that combos up against Roy, you'll know that for whatever reason, Roy is just a beautiful character to land combos on. Everything works, and Pikachu loves that, as well as the fact that Pikachu can land kills and edge guards on Roy very, very easily. It is a great time for Pikachu in advantage state. And guess what? Roy's advantage state in return isn't that good. Roy is a character that likes to do this weird setup where you kind of just ledge trap people over and over, and if you land one jab as you're ledge trapping, it leads into back air, gets a very early kill. Guess who just decides that they're gonna just quick attack past the ledge and avoid ledge traps altogether, because you know, they're cool like that. I'll give you a hint, it's not Roy. Chrom players have a tough time with Pikachu as well. However, at least Chrom has more range to deal with Pikachu. You can kind of hit at the end of his sword, unlike Roy. However, what Chrom really struggles with is Joker. Joker's down B, once he has Arsene to do the counter, is an easy edge guard on Chrom every time. In fact, the Arsene charge hits Chrom's recovery as well. In return, if Chrom hits Joker off stage, what is Chrom doing? Nothing. Joker always just goes low, uses his tether, makes it back. So advantage state, boom, extreme favor to Joker. In the neutral game, Chrom is usually a character that likes to just completely outspeed and overwhelm his opponents. However, Joker has the speed to match that as well. So I wouldn't say that Joker is absolutely dominating in the neutral game. It's more so when Joker gets a hit and just starts shooting guns and countering Chrom's recovery. It's an absolute disaster for Chrom. Game & Watch's biggest struggle is Zero Suit Samus. And nowadays I main Game & Watch, so yes, I feel this. I understand. Game & Watch is a character that likes to get in close to his opponents, land that neutral air or a grab, get those combos going. Guess who has better movement speed than Game & Watch? It's Zero Suit Samus. Guess who has more range than Game & Watch? It's Zero Suit Samus. Now, Game & Watch, he's fantastic though at getting kills because he goes out there and lands extremely early edge guards. Oh wait, you can't edge guard Zero Suit Samus. Oh yeah, she just flip kicks or like tethers to the ledge. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's sick. Also, okay, I can't land edge guards. I've got my crazy smash attacks to just land on my opponent in neutral. Guess who's got the movement to avoid all of that very, very easily? It is Zero Suit Samus. It's an absolute pain to deal with ZSS. Now, in return, ZSS can land extremely early kills on Game & Watch's recovery. As he upbeats to the ledge, Zero Suit Samus, all she needs to do is just pop out that down smash. If it hits, bam. Very, very early kill. Or she can get early kills with using side B to just outrange Game & Watch and get a kill off the top. It's a disaster as a Game & Watch man. I'm sorry, my anger might have came out on that one. Meta Knight's worst matchup is also Zero Suit Samus. If you think about Meta Knight, he's a weirdly similar character in terms of what he's trying to do to Game & Watch. He's short, He's stubby. He needs to get right up to your face and hit you with either a grab or, not a neutral air, but a dash tag. And he likes to land edge guards off stage to get early kills. He's weirdly very similar to Game & Watch as I was making this list. So guess what? He has the same worst matchup. Pit and Dark Pit are often said to be the most honest characters in the entire game. So what better way than to have a worse matchup with a character that has Banana? Banana is the least honest thing in the entire game, other than Steve and Kazuya. Diddy's Banana is absolutely ridiculous as a move. It kind of outspaces everything Pit or Dark Pit want to do. Diddy just comes in, gets an easy punish. If he doesn't have the Banana out, Diddy actually has more range than Pit and Dark Pit, which does make sense because Pit and Dark Pit have like a little sword thing. Diddy Kong just has big feet though, and those big feet go to work. Pair this with the fact that Diddy, with the help of his Banana, once again, is fantastic at edgeguarding Pit and Dark Pit. He just does that thing where he kind of drops the Banana near the ledge with the 2-frame. Bam! Down air. Very easy to catch, very easy to time on Pit and Dark Pit's linear recovery, and so yeah, it's a rough time for them. There is one character that all of the Zero Suit Samus mains had as a -2 matchup, and that is Wolf. So I'm going to let Mars, the best Zero Suit Samus player in the world, take it away.
Wolf, I think, is one of ZSS's worst matchups. His Nair is super ridiculous, dude. It stuffs most aerial approaches, and if I try to outspace it, he can forward air. If he can play a lot of different ways too. That's the hard part about fighting Wolf. He can try to scrap with you, which you have to play a completely different play style, as if he were to instead laser camp and zone. You know, you have to be able to tell what the Wolf is doing before they even start doing it. So you have to kind of just commit way earlier than they do, and the execution for actually getting in on Wolf is pretty hard. The gimping is kind of possible against Wolf. You would think it's easy, but it's really not. You know, the timing mix-ups are just hard to get around. It's like a 50-50 maybe if you even get a gimp if you win a neutral interaction. But the only thing that ZSS has that kind of helps with this matchup is her really good her good advantage state. But winning neutral is super hard. You die early, Fair Bear will kill ZSS at the edge, super early, ridiculously. And getting in is super hard. He's got the lingering hitboxes, you know, dash attack anti-airs inherently, laser 2. It's a very rough matchup.
Wario is short and stubby and has a very rough time with Steve because he can't approach this camping character that has a bit of range on him. But other than Steve, Olimar is surprisingly just as good, or almost just as good, for the same reasons. Olimar kind of camps out Wario and uses range at the same time, while still having a bit of movement, still being able to get under Wario and land juggles. And yeah, Wario has a surprisingly rough time dealing with Olimar and all his Pikmin. Wario players sometimes like to counter camping by camping back themselves, where they just wait and try and get waft. But if you do that to Olimar, he very easily gets the perfect Pikmin setup. Olimar would just stand over there, get 2 purples and a white, or if you're at high percent, maybe 2 purples and a blue to kill you off grabs. You're always giving Olimar the perfect, most annoying Pikmin setup if you try to out-camp him. Snake is a character, along with a few others that you'll see later on this list, that really struggle with Mega Man. I was surprised by Mega Man kind of turning into this anti-camp character, because if you kind of see the matchup, Snake is trying to use projectiles and use attacks like grenades against Mega Man. Mega Man is just blowing those things up right in Snake's face. Mega Man's projectiles come out so fast, they kind of delete all of Snake's projectiles and then put Mega Man on the offense. Also, Mega Man's down air is just absolutely primo perfect for catching Snake going low, and if Snake tries to avoid that, mix it up, goes high. Mega Man's up air's pretty decent with that as well. Snake's gonna have a tough time staying up at the top of the stage trying to get down, where Cyclones are keeping him uplifted. So yeah, it's a rough matchup for Snake. Ike is a character with a lot of range and a lot of slow startup, and so he kind of gets countered by a character that is completely the opposite, which is Roy, who has pretty much no startup, does not have, well, he does have range, but he doesn't like to use the range, and he's extremely quick. And Ike kind of just gets overwhelmed. Roy is all over the top of Ike like some butter on some nice bread. And pair this with the fact that Roy can kind of just counter Ike's recovery, and it's a rough matchup for Ike. Oh, and by counter, I mean literally using his counter as Ike tries to up B or side B back to stage. Pokemon trainers apparently have an extremely tough time dealing with Samus. Samus's camp game kind of perfectly counters every single one of Pokemon Trainer's Pokemon. Usually Ivysaur comes out if you want to do a bit of projectile camping back, but Ivysaur's camp game ain't nothing like Samus's missiles. Like, you're using Razor Leaf, you're using a leaf against my military grade weapons. Like, that is not going to work. Diddy Kong is another character that has a very tough time dealing with Pac-Man. I guess similar to Sheik, Diddy Kong likes it when his opponent is on the ground because he's able to use his banana and lands the banana hit that trips the opponent, which then lands into more combos. However, Pac-Man is a character that likes to jump around and stay in the air to camp you. Pac-Man is a bit of an air camper, I guess I'm going to call it, which Diddy Kong really struggles with. Diddy Kong also hates the fact that the Hydrant, surprisingly, is a fantastic move in neutral to kind of take control of the stage and deactivate Diddy Kong's banana. And if Diddy Kong's going to sit back and pull banana, Pac-Man's going to sit back and pull the bell or the key, and it's probably a bit better than banana. It's a lot better than banana when Hydrant comes into play and you're camping in the air. So yeah, that's why it sucks. Oh my gosh, and I almost forgot that if Pac-Man grabs Diddy Kong's banana, guess what? Pac-Man can still just run back and camp out, still get fruit while holding the banana. So Diddy Kong is just getting absolutely out-camped and is playing catch-up against a character that is just flying around the stage. Lucas has a really, really tough time with Sephiroth. Lucas is a character that has a bit of range, some projectiles, likes to out-camp, out-range opponents. Sephiroth is outranging Lucas just with a sword and side B. So Lucas's entire game plan of kind of outranging, fighting at that mid-range, doesn't work against Sephiroth. Sephiroth just takes one step back and is still pressuring you. Combine this with Sephiroth being able to edge guard Lucas like there is no tomorrow. It is a tough time for the little blonde boy. Sonic is a character that apparently has no bad matchups. According to Sonics, who is the best Sonic player in the world. Look, even is as bad as it gets. And guess what? Pelly is another fantastic Sonic player, and he also says that Sonic has no losing matchup. So I guess Sonic is just the best character of all time. He doesn't lose a single matchup. This is ridiculous. Oh, wait. Boo, Pika wins? Oh, okay. It's Pikachu. Pikachu is Sonic's worst matchup, I guess. Which I guess I could see, because Pikachu can kind of out-camp Sonic by chucking out the neutral bees over and over. Could potentially land edge guards on Sonic as well. So I think Esam might be onto something, saying it's his worst matchup. Maybe Steve is better than Pikachu, but I guess Pikachu can kind of out-camp Sonic with the neutral bee, and Pikachu can go out there and try and land edge guards as well. So I guess that's the evidence. It's up to you guys. You want to believe Sonics and Pelly, or you want to believe Esam. But with that, I'll have to end this video, end part 1. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like if you want to see part 2. And potentially it might be part 3 to get the DLC included. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those videos. Thank you so much for the support on the channel, and I'll see you next time.